Did you know that one of the world's most mysterious structures holds an untold secret? You won't believe the tale behind this lonely beacon of light far out in the ocean. By the end of this video, you'll never look at lighthouses the same way again. Deep in the waters of the North Atlantic stands the Eilean Mor Lighthouse, perched on the desolate Flannan Isles of Scotland. It's a towering symbol of resilience, a beacon to guide weary sailors through treacherous seas. But in December of 1900, the lighthouse earned another title, a symbol of inexplicable mystery. It was the 26th of December, the day after Christmas, when the ship Hesperus docked at Flannan Isles. The goal? Routine rotation, replace the lighthouse's 3 keepers and bring supplies. But from the moment the ship approached the island, something was undeniably off. There was no flag flying. There was no signal that the keepers were waiting for their replacements. And most unsettling of all, there was no movement. The keepers seemed to have vanished. The relief party immediately investigated. What they found, or more importantly, what they didn't find, sparked whispers of the supernatural, theories of conspiracy, and questions that have persisted for over a century. Inside the lighthouse itself, things only got stranger. The lamps were extinguished, freshly prepared meals sat untouched, and a single overturned chair hinted at some sudden disruption. Within the keeper's logbook, an even more puzzling narrative began to unravel. The entries paint a haunting portrait of their final days. December 12th, Chief Keeper Thomas Marshall noted severe winds, unlike anything he'd experienced in 20 years. He wrote of Keeper Donald MacArthur breaking down into tears, a strange detail given MacArthur's reputation as the rugged stoic type. An even stranger entry followed on December 13th, describing a great storm, though ship logs and records showed the weather had been calm. Then, there was silence. Nothing after December 15th. So, what happened to Thomas Marshall, Donald MacArthur and James Ducat? Modern theories range from the plausible to the bizarre. Some say a rogue wave dragged all 3 to their deaths. Perhaps one was in trouble, and the others tried to help, only to succumb themselves. This hypothesis gained traction when searchers noted damage to the western landing. But there's always a but. Meteorological records and tidal charts suggest conditions didn't align for such a wave to occur. Others point at the concept of cabin fever, a psychological phenomenon where isolation drives individuals to irrational behavior. Did the solitude, the relentless wind, and monotony cause the men to argue violently? Did it lead one to madness? But again, where were the bodies? Could madness explain that cold, eerie silence and final incomplete log entry? And then there are the more eccentric theories. Some say those winds carried an unseen predator, an alien force, perhaps, spirited away the unlucky keepers. Others invoked folklore tales of sea spirits, malicious fairies or ghouls, avenging incursions upon their sacred land. Perhaps you find this hard to believe. Perhaps it's comforting even, to dismiss this as sheer fantasy. But it's worth noting something eerie. The tales surrounding these lands were centuries old, and locals had long avoided the Flannan Isles. Religious lore speaks of the otherworld lurking, just beyond sight. One local legend even told of a shepherd centuries ago frozen in fear, describing floating lights, eerily familiar to modern accounts of UFO phenomena, all above the Flannan Cliffs. Could this have been a mere metaphor for some natural process, or was it evidence of the otherworldly origin? Now here's where the story takes yet another turn. In 1912, just over a decade later, another incident was reported. A visiting vessel at Flannan Isles noted fierce sounds on the wind, sounds like speech, though no living soul was present. One sailor swore he heard the faint calling of names: Thomas, Donald, and James. Was it the spirits of the keepers, or the imagination of a frightened man? To this day, no conclusive evidence has emerged. Scholars, scientists, and folklore enthusiasts continue to debate the nature of this historical enigma, a tale with just enough verifiable facts to prevent its dismissal, but too few answers to truly solve. What really claimed the lives of the lighthouse keepers? The men who stood valiantly against the elements, whose only task was to shine a light across the endless, restless seas. Perhaps it's fitting that such a story remains unresolved, shrouded in mystery, much like the foggy North Atlantic. After all, history is full of such hidden gems, fragments that remain unidentified, pieces of a puzzle we're not meant to solve. This, it seems, is one of them. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into history's hidden gems. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to uncover more untold stories that hide in the shadows of our past. Who knows? Our next tale might just change the way you see the world.